So it's like a real vibe check, Shane. So I go on the show and they're like, bring out your notes. Just don't use any statistics. And so I was talking about Colston Loveland, and I go, I have no reason to believe this. And I think this is actually a lot of the way I do fantasy, anyways. Is I'm like, you know what? I just feel like this is going to be a Colston Loveland week. But there have been some hints from Ben Johnson over the last couple of days that lead us to believe that some of the guys who have not been, let's say, overly active over the last couple of weeks might be more involved this week. I don't want to be too cryptic or anything like that, but I do want to get to the conversation. So Shane, let's just go ahead and start the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Adam Ray.
It's Hester trying to work it back to the middle. Gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And no flag, 92 yards.
The sickest Chicago Bears and fantasy football podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the what do we call these? What do the kids call it? Collabs? The collabs with Just Another Year Chicago. Listen, he's in Canada right now. He's got a dinner to go to. Forgive all the things we normally do. Let's just bring Nick on right now because I got to get to this. And we're going to accommodate. Listen, you're cool, man. I know that you're very nice to apologize. Like, I got to go to, listen, we're all very busy this time of year. So we do appreciate you coming on. But Nick, how you living right now? How you feeling? How is your mental health at this time?
Well, at least it's not Monday anymore. Monday was rough. Monday literally felt like I had drank 16 Natty Lights and didn't drink any water. Like it was I did not drink any. I was at a wedding the day before in Denver, but the hangover on Monday of just depression was terrible. And just the more you look at the game, the more film I watch, I'm like, God, this is ugly. And then you just learn just everything that's going on. It's just like, we need a new week. And of course, we got the Cowboys this week. I'm excited to play Eberflus, but oh my gosh, the Bears hangover this Monday was horrendous to say the least.
Have you noticed that over the what the NFL schedule makers have done over the first month, the first 4 games? So if you think about this, Monday or week 1 on the Monday Night Football game, we played the Minnesota Vikings going up against a quarterback who grew up a fan of the Chicago Bears, was upset that he was not drafted by the Chicago Bears, and was going out there to prove a point. Week 2 on the road against Detroit, the team that our new head coach left as the much celebrated offensive coordinator. That game had to be week 2. That we had to jam both these games into the first 2 weeks of the season. Week 3 is going up against our former head coach, who is now the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. And then week 4 is the team that Ben Johnson, that was connected, that Tom Brady was connected to, trying to get to Las Vegas. Those are the first 4. Why I'm surprised we haven't played Green Bay in the first. We got both Green Bay games done in the first 4 weeks of the season. You know they wanted to do that. Is it weird? Or am I just reading too much into that?
No, it's just another great NFL conspiracy theory that is very blatantly obvious. And, it writes a good script. You know what would have been perfect, though, Adam, going off that? If we would have played Green Bay week 5, because then the week before we played the team that only was connected to Ben Johnson, but Green Bay made a trade that for an edge that changed their defense, and we played the team that did that for 2018 for us a year before. And just to put the cherry on top, if we played the Chiefs the week after that and went against Matt Nagy, they would have been like every Bears connection possible over the season. But yeah, I'm just happy that the NFL got those 2 games out of the way for us. And also going against Flus's defense that looks just as bad as Dennis Allen's defense right now.
It does not look good. I wonder too, because I know a lot of people are talking about how poorly. Oh, did you see how badly Green Bay beat Detroit and then Detroit beat? I go, honestly, I truly believe this. Detroit was like, I know you're going on the road to face the Green Bay Packers, but really, and this is based on all the comments that you hear from Amon-Ra St. Brown. All they talked about was play. They never talked about playing the Packers in week 1. They were only focused on Ben Johnson in week 2, to the point of like they almost treated week 1 like a preseason game. Like, yeah, whatever. I'm surprised they just didn't rest Jared Goff in that one. And then they go out there and they brought it out. And magnanimously, I congratulated the Detroit Lions on winning their Super Bowl. I know they don't know what winning a Super Bowl is like or even being to a Super Bowl. I will tell them it is better. Winning a Super Bowl is actually better than winning a week 2 regular season game. They have no frame of reference, but they'll just have to trust me on that one. But going back to that game, and I know that you've watched the film and I know you've watched things over and over again. There's a lot of things that did not go well. And what is the one thing, like when you watched it, what was the one thing that stood out to you where you're like, God, this is really bad. This is really a problem when you look back at that game against the Lions?
Usage of the tight ends. We are not passing to them at all. Like Colston Loveland has had 2 targets in 2 games, and we drafted this guy number 10 overall. Like that's bad. Yeah. And then Cole Kmet's had 2 catches in 2 games, both for decent gains too. Like when he's used, he's effective. But 2 years ago, Kmet 700 plus yards receiving, could have been a Pro Bowler, arguably at the tight end position. And then last year looked really hot at one point, and then just went ice cold. They ghosted their own player practically in the playbook for 6-7 games. And then now they're just ghosting the tight end room as a whole when Ben Johnson is supposed to be this tight end guru. So when I was watching that game, there was the one play when Caleb threw the interception, which terrible throw, by the way. We can probably talk about that in a little bit. But right. Loveland was wide open. I mean, he could not have been more open for a quick out route, and it would have been close to the first down. But we don't know what this kid can do against smaller defenders, and we know he's big and strong. I mean, shoot, he throws freaking cows around for fun when he's at home. So I'm just very unimpressed by the amount of tight end usage. I hope to see that more against Dallas. The other honorable mention, and I've said this before with you, Adam, Braxton Jones. He played horrendous against the Lions, and this isn't like, wow, he's the best left tackle we had on our roster. There's a lot of question marks, and then having Ozzie Trapillo and Karana Magaji healthy scratches. So that left tackle room, really weird situation. Tight end room, 2 things I noticed right out of the gate, but it was bad.
Let me ask you a question, though, because I don't want to overindulge the positives or anything like that, but Rome Odunze is obviously going out there and had a great game. Do you believe, because let's be honest, this is the second game of a brand new regime, a new playbook, everything that's been going on. They've done a really nice job of establishing Rome Odunze. Do you feel, though, and this is, again, this goes based on something that I was talking about on NFL Fantasy Live today. Like, I have no reason to believe this other than just a vibe feel. I believe this is going to be the big Colston Loveland game, almost to the point of like Ben Johnson's like, okay, now we understand, like, now we got Roman Dunze involved. Now it's a point of emphasis to go out there and get Colston Loveland. Do you think we could see that shift this week against the Dallas Cowboys?
100%. And I was actually going to hit on that, but I didn't want to, go too deep and like take away too many talking points that we could have today. 100%. I think the tight end room, especially against Dallas's linebacker room, there's going to be a lot of open coverage, and how Flus runs that defense, especially in zone over the middle. I think that Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet are going to have themselves a day. And I wanted to go back to this real quick, Adam, that Detroit Super Bowl beating the Bears, fantastic, love it, week 2. Yeah. Part of my coping thought, because that's what Bears fans have to do to stay sane, is that Detroit put every trick play they had in their book with their new offensive coordinator out there against the Bears. Now it's on film. The Bears still even probably haven't opened up half their playbook yet. So hopefully we see a little bit more this week. But Ben knows that he has to get everyone else involved moving forward. It can't just be Rome. But now they've established that threat down the field that teams are going to plan double teams for, and it's going to leave someone else open. So one domino's fallen, hopefully this weekend. But I'm with you. I think it's going to be a big weekend for both our tight ends.
I really do. And I was sitting there talking about this as well with Jared Goff. And somebody was asking, the show, Patrick Claybon, the host of the show, was asking me like, hey, Jared Goff, is he going to play well this week against the Baltimore Ravens? And I'm like, he better, or else it's going to be one of those things like if he goes out there and struggles against the Baltimore Ravens, it's going to be like, well, maybe it was a fluke that he played so well against the Bears, against his former offensive coordinator. We have 2 bad games. So he better go out there. He better go out there and light up the Baltimore Ravens, or I think there's going to be a lot of questions. We can go back to the memes of like, well, here's the photos of Dan Orlovsky and be like, well, here's Jared Goff without Ben Johnson. Speaking of Ben Johnson, he made some not so non-cryptic threats Against some of the teams. If we can, Shane, if we can go ahead and roll this tape, let's listen to what Ben Johnson was talking about earlier this week, talking about holding players accountable in open competition.
I kind of knew that first game that the tight end position wasn't going to be featured as much. I was hopeful that this game we would bounce back a little bit more, both with Cole and Colston. I think Luther's slowly gaining the trust as we go here. We're trying to get him more packages as we're going. The way that we've talked about it as a coaching staff going into this week is we're going to have a lot more competition. I've alluded to it before. Just what these guys look like when the ball's not in their hands, that's a big deal for us. And so there were some plays there yesterday that we weren't quite as pleased with what that looked like on tape. And so we're going to find out this week at practice who wants to practice hard and who wants to be a little bit more involved with the game plan here going into Sunday.
I feel like this is, I'm sure it's a shot at somebody. I don't want to speculate who it is. I know that people on social media have their theories on who he was talking about. But what do you make of what he was talking about? Like it feels like some players are definitely going to be under the gun this week, especially in practice, which kicks off tomorrow. What do you make of what Ben was talking about there?
I'm just going to shut the door real quick on Caleb Williams for everyone. He's not talking about him. Tyson went out there and Tyson didn't do anything. Everyone thought Tyson would come in one play, throw a 60-yard touchdown and would prove, no, it's not Caleb. My personal opinion, I think it's going to be a competition, and just hear me out here. I think it's going to be on the defensive line because no one's getting pressure right now. And I think Montez Sweat, even though Ben Johnson's he's working really hard, this and that, it doesn't mean he's not performing. We're paying this guy. He's our highest paid defensive player at the moment. He needs to go out there and get the job done. The obvious one too, Braxton Jones, that one for sure. That's a lock right there.
Yeah.
7 pressures, 2 sacks, unacceptable how he's been playing so far. And then Tyreek Stevenson. I think that with Blackwell coming back, Blackwell has shown that he went against freaking, Devontae Adams when they played Green Bay when he was a rookie, and he held him really well. I had a chance to talk to Josh about that a couple weeks ago, and I was like, what was your greatest game? And he was like, the Devontae Adams game my rookie year where I was able to take him on. I think Blackwell being back, who showed he was really positive on special teams, like that one big hit that he had on the punt return opportunity for Detroit. He just has so much speed, runs a 4.34 40, and he can keep up with anybody. Dallas's wide receivers, super fast. I see him going out there and making a competition, and maybe even safety with Kevin Byard. There's some safeties on the free agent market right now. But Kevin Byard has looked bad the first 2 games. Not the player that we had back last year. And he's in a contract year too. So I don't know, maybe if age is finally catching up with him. But Ben Johnson sent a message also taking Braxton Jones out of the Detroit game when he kept all the other starters out there with Theo. I'm excited for practice this week. So I think good competitions are going to happen.
No, and I know you didn't mention one of the receivers too, and I'm glad you did it. I don't want to bring his name up because I don't want to be involved in that, and I don't want to I've been good with this guy, so I'm glad that you didn't bring him up because I agree with you. I think it's some of the other guys. I think the offensive line is probably where we could end up seeing one of the bigger shakeups over anything. And honestly, I don't think that Jonas is in any danger of losing his spot. However, he's got to play a lot better as well. And I think there's a lot of guys. I know who the headliners are that people are looking at, but I think there's a lot of other dudes who could be in the mix here. And I know you got to run. I do want to ask you though. I know you did say you shut the door on Caleb Williams. Before you get out of here,
sure.
Let me ask you about Caleb Williams because honestly, I thought, and again, I forget who I was listening to, and I don't know, somebody was talking smack or whatever, and they keep acting like Caleb Williams scoring touchdowns on these scripted openings is a bad thing. Like we never scored on the opening drive. Again, I'm thankful. Like I sit there, I am so thankful. I missed the opening quarter because I was out at AYSO Picture Day. I was so thankful to look at my phone and be like, hey, it's 7-7. We scored. I was really fearful that we weren't going to do it. I think that's a huge improvement. And it seems like everybody wants to make fun of us for it. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that he's out there scoring touchdowns immediately. Maybe he should try that and we'll lose by 60 instead of 30.
Yeah. Let me just say this is that, do you know how many times we did that last year? 0. So like we've done it 2 for 2 this year. Our third down percentage is a lot better. Like this offense is doing better. And yesterday I decided to just shoot out this tweet, and I knew it was going to tick some people off, but I did a year-over-year comparison of Caleb's first 2 games, and the stats, they speak for themselves. Caleb in his first 2 games last year, 37 for 66 passing, 267 passing yards, 2 interceptions, and he played the worst team in the NFL last year in one of those games. This year, 40 for 65. Okay, not much better on the completion, but his completions are more effective. 417 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. 2 rushing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. And both the first 2 teams he played won 14 or more games last year. Like, and it's a new playbook. Everyone's got to chill out. The Caleb hate's out of control at this point. But yeah, I'm not. Everyone does. Are you out on him? I'm like, no, it's the second game, and we said it last.
That was in the rundown. Are you out on him? I'm sorry. I had to put a question in there. I got it, but I had to ask because a lot of people are.
Well, those people need to go step on some grass and breathe some air, man. Like, stay off Twitter for a minute. Our quarterback's getting better, and he's only played in 19 NFL games so far.
Yes.
It's time to relax. And again, we said this last week too. His stats are better than any quarterback we've had in recent memory, and we're freaking out about it. So we just got to be grateful. It's a process. He's progressing. He'll be fine.
Yeah, it is like watching one of those movies that takes a long time to develop a plot. Everybody wants to go watch a John Woo action movie where there's explosions in the first 2 minutes of everything, or a James Bond movie that always had a cool cold open. That's not the way it's going to be in the NFL. No. It's gonna take a little bit of time, and it's understandable, and it's nothing to overreact to. So I'm with you on that one. I'll have more thoughts on that in a second, but I do want to let everybody know. Big thanks to Windy City Sports Cards for allowing this show to happen. At Windy City Sports Cards, we specialize in buying and selling all things related to Chicago sports, whether you're a fan of the Bears, Bulls, Cubs, White Sox, Blackhawks, Sky, or Fire. Windy City Sports Cards has you covered with a wide variety of items. In addition to the sports cards, they got pictures, helmets, pictures and photographs, which are 2 different things in my mind. They got all sorts of stuff, and it's not just Chicago stuff. If you want to go out there, if you're collecting cards, Mike sent me a Cooper flag card. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I really appreciate it. So anything you're looking for in the world of sports, anything that's a collectible, this Walter Payton here over my shoulder. There it is, over my shoulder. That came from Windy City Sports Cards as well. So make sure you hit him up. Go to WindyCitySportsCards.com. Check out Mike. Tell him we sent you, and you will not be disappointed. And listen, I know you got to work dinner. Are you paying for this dinner?
Absolutely not.
Okay. When you sit down, classy move. This is Alpha. I don't know what kind of place. Wait, is it a steakhouse? Where are we going? What
Italian steakhouse.
It's an Italian steakhouse. Okay, whatever you do, you got to order like, hey, do you guys have an antipasta for the table? Like, order something for the table, like an appetizer or a starter for the table. It's always a power move. I think a lot of times you go to steakhouse, like, bring some fries for the table or do this for the table. Order an appetizer for the table, and you will look like a superstar. But Nick, go have a good time. Don't stay out too late. And I'm glad you were able to join us here this afternoon.
Thanks for having me. Sorry, guys, for the short time, but at next week, we're locked in. And we're going to be talking about a win next week. That's what I'm excited about. So thanks, Adam. Really, really good time today again.
I love it. All right, there he goes. The great Nic Roti of Just Another Year, Chicago. I'm going to hold on. I guess, listen, I don't know if here's my thing. I'm glad that he was able to stop by for a little bit. I share his positivity. And it's one of those things, too, that you hear all these comments about Caleb Williams. And I think one of the most important thing that I feel what we're seeing now is anybody who's talking negatively about Caleb Williams is doing so with an agenda. They're anti-Caleb for whatever reason. And whether it's because your team drafted a quarterback in the same draft class, or you didn't like him at USC, or you don't like the fact that he paints his nails, or the fact that he has a pink phone case. Hey, look, mine's purple. I hope you guys can forgive me. These things are all personal, and it's not an objective view of what Caleb Williams has been working through and what he's going on and what's happening to him. He's learning a new playbook on the fly in the NFL. It's not like back in the day where these guys got excessive amounts of preparation time. There was a time when, the kids won't believe this, but back in the day, There was a time when you would go out there and you would have 2-a-day practices where you would get a lot of exposure. We played multiple preseason games. That doesn't happen. You're pretty much learning on the fly right now. The NFL doesn't want you to practice in some sense. And it's one of the few things that the NFL Players Association has been able to fight back on, is to limit the amount of playing time, or the limit the amount of practice time, so players are not in danger or things of that nature. So I think that everything with Caleb Williams now, if you're against Caleb Williams at this point, it's all personal. You have a personal agenda. You are again, for one of the reasons I laid out, and there's a lot of people in the media who've already been like, well, I've come out against Caleb Williams. I'm going to continue on that train because it's lucrative. You know, we see this with a lot of media personalities, and it's not just sports. It goes into other areas of media as well, where it's like, you know what, if you really lock in a polarizing position, if you will take a polarizing position on something, you will go out there and make a lot of money. You don't make a lot of money about saying like, hey, Caleb Williams is making some improvement. We'll see what happens. That doesn't draw clicks. That doesn't rage bait people. No. You got to go out there and say something incendiary and then walk it back at some point. Be like, I never said that. But still, you go out there and you say some things and you get people fired up and you draw a lot of interest to yourself, because that's what's happening with Caleb Williams. Nobody. And it goes, and it honestly, like, Caleb Williams gets it the worst. The Chicago Bears are one of the teams that gets it the worst, but it also happens to other franchises too, because the Raiders, you believe it or not, like, if you sit here and you listen to what is happening in sports media today, if you watch Good Morning Football, First Take, anything like that, what is the Barstool show on sport? I just realized too, by the way, if I could give a quick shout out to my friend, T-Bob A. Bear, who does a morning show on, I just learned this today. T-Bob A. Bear does a morning show for Fox. And I don't know, I know nothing about it other than T-Bob's on it, and I want to go check it out. I'm recording it for tomorrow, so I want to check it out. But the point is this, is if you listen to the sports talk today, you would forget that the Raiders had won their first game. Like, you would forget that. You'd be like, oh wow, how bad are the Raiders? Like, the worst team in the league, right? They got destroyed by the Chargers. Like, they beat the Patriots in week 1. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Everybody overreacts to absolutely everything. And I hate to echo the words of Aaron Rodgers. And again, we referenced this on Monday's show. What is today? Tuesday. Yesterday. Not the one with Kendall, but the other one. It's crazy because, like, everybody is going nuts. People just want to overreact way too much. And it's one of those things too, because, like, and listen, this is some of my friends too, who are in week 1, who are apocalyptic, being like, see, we should have never gotten rid of Justin Fields. Justin Fields was the truth, blah, blah, blah. Look at what he did. And then in week 2, they're like, yeah, never mind. Can't find him. Like, where are you? Where'd all my friends go? Where are you? Where are the guys that were talking up Justin? Like, you're gone. And it's too week to week. Nobody is sitting here willing to just go through it. And listen, I understand. I do not help the situation, and I will not help the situation, because I always take a positive view towards the Chicago Bears. I always give them the benefit of the doubt, even though they've done nothing. They've done nothing to earn my grace. They've done nothing to earn that. There is no reason I should always take the Chicago Bears side, but it's kind of like having a child. And it is kind of like having a child. And it's one of those things where I take things very personal, and I hold the Bears are very personal to me. And so I hold it and I take things personally. As a matter of fact, this is funny too. Shane, can we bring up, this is something that's been happening in the NFL over the last year. This was last season. This was CJ Stroud talking to Caleb Williams after their week 2 game last year. Can we roll that, please?
Yeah.
Hey,
keep going.
Stop taking those hits.
Yeah, I know.
Hey,
Yeah.
Learn from those mistakes, and everything that you got, bro, is in you already, bro. You're going to be a hell of a player in this league.
Yeah.
All right, boy.
Appreciate it.
For sure.
I'm sorry, CJ Stroud. Veteran CJ Stroud was acting like he was Tom Brady right there. And I understand he's a nice kid. He's a delightful individual. But at the same time, like, that's That's such a show. And text Caleb that. You're doing that in front of the cameras for everybody to see, like, hey, look at me. I'm going to give you some words. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you've played 18 games in the NFL, and now you're trying to son Caleb Williams. I will not say, and that bothers me. This is what I'm talking about. I take these things too personally, which is why, again, I always give the Bears the benefit of the doubt, because stuff like that enrages me, where I just look at it and I'm like, see, and then, by the way, how have the Houston Texans done since that moment? I want to know what the Texans' record is since that Sunday. I know they win the division, which they can't help but win the division because the rest of the division is dog feces, even though the Colts somehow are the best team in the league for whatever. They're 2-0. Like, this is another thing, too. Like, it just drives me crazy. Like, how are the Colts 2-0? How are they 2-0? And like, how with Daniel Jones? You know what it's like? It's like being in that fantasy league and you got a friend who doesn't pay attention, doesn't put in the work, and is winning your fantasy league. And speaking of fantasy leagues, hey, listen, why win your fantasy league when you can rule it? That's right. We're talking about Crowned Champs, and they just dropped the hottest thing fantasy's ever seen, a real handcrafted premium championship crown. It's just $2.99 a month per person. You can go to their website at crownchampscompany.com, rack up points, win weekly challenges, get voted as king, queen, trash talker, and unlock real-life merch. We're talking about crownchampscompany.com. Don't just win your fantasy league. Don't go out there and settle for some cheesy trophy. Don't just settle for a lame little good game, everybody. No. Go out there and rule your league with some high handcrafted merch from Crown Champs. Go to crownchampscompany.com. Use the promo code RANK15 and you'll get 15% off your order. Don't be lame. Be a part of Crown Champs. And so this is what the Colts are like. The Colts are your friend who doesn't do anything in all of fantasy football and somehow is sitting there winning it. And I'm just getting so tired. I just want us to be normal. I want us to be normal for like 10 seconds. Like that. Can we just be 1-1? Like so much of the world would be different if we had won that, if we would have hung on to win that first game. So much of this would have been different because we just would have been like, well, we expected to be 1-1. We didn't think we were going to win week 1. And by the way, and again, I congratulate the Detroit Lions on their Super Bowl victory. I mean, I'm happy for them. So it's all this stuff. Like it would be easier to wear that if we had that first one. And now we got the Dallas Cowboys. Eberflus, I don't know. Maybe Eberflus has some, although this is the thing. And I want you guys to weigh in on this. The men and women in this chat right now. What do you think? What do you think's more likely? Is that Eberflus has got a way to figure out Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, or Ben Johnson, who destroyed Matt Eberflus's defense over the last 2 seasons, is going to go out there and do it again? Yeah, I'm starting to swing the other way. I was like, Eberflus knows this team, but I'm like, you know what? Ben Johnson knows Eberflus. Ben Johnson was putting up all these points last year on Matt Eberflus. I really think, God, this is such an opportunity. If we get right in this week, if we really do, and I think it's going to happen. It can't be this bad. I just refuse to believe that it's going to be this crappy forever and we're never going to be good. Like, God, it's just got, again, this is one of those things where it's just like a vibe check where you're just sitting there like, I don't know. There's no metric. I can pull up the stats. I can pull out anything. Like our stat packet is on the way. It's being delivered as we speak. I could look through a ton of stuff and be like, well, you know what? Like in games against it doesn't matter. The Bears have to go out there and want to decide that they want to win it. Like, look at this message right from the start. This is what Ben Johnson was talking about. No block, no rock. He has got to start holding this team accountable. It's like Draft Dr. Phil was talking about this last night on CHGO when the 3 families of Chicago media came together. And it's like, look, it's one thing to come out here and say these things like, hey, I want to hold this team accountable. I want to hold players accountable until we start to see it, until we see Braxton Jones on the bench, until we see Tyreek Stevenson being disciplined. Remember, this is what happened last season where he kind of hem and hawed with Tyreek Stevenson. I think if Matt Eberflus had come out last year and been like, you know what, Matt, Tyreek Stevenson is not dressing for this game. And like we left, if they would have left Tyreek Stevenson at home, remind me of what happened. But like, I felt like he was so wishy-washy in everything with Tyreek Stevenson that it just didn't really, I don't know. I need Ben to follow through. It's like one of those things about being a parent where if you can sit there and you tell your kid like, hey, if you don't do that, you're grounded. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And they do it anyways, and you don't punish them, then they're not going to respect you. Similarly, these players want to be respected. They want to be held accountable. They want to go out there and they want to go out there and win. I really do believe this. And I think that what Ben Johnson is doing is trying to create a culture right now, a competitive culture of guys going out there and winning jobs. Noah Sewell has gone out there and won a job because he is playing so well. He has been so undeniable that you cannot keep him off the field. We need somebody else to do that. We need Luther Burden III to show out and be that person. Colston Loveland needs to be that guy. Kyle Monangai needs to be that guy. Where's Montez Sweat? Earn that contract. If you want to be a member of the Chicago Bears, maybe you don't care. And if you don't care, then we shouldn't care about you. So we need to see these guys go out there and really take some accountability and try to prove that they want to be a member of this football team. And those who don't want to be a member of the Chicago Bears, well, then I hope you enjoy hitting the waiver wire and spending your winter in Cleveland. Go out there and prove that you want to be a member of the Chicago Bears. Go out there and prove that you want to go out there and win some games. Ben Johnson is there to help you. He will take us to the promised land. It's just a matter of, do you want to go with him? So I feel pretty good about it. I think we're going to see a huge bounce back game. I think the Caleb Williams true breakout game is very close. And for it to come against Matt Eberflus would be, oh, so sweet. Would be such poetic justice. As badly as the Lions wanted to beat the Bears in week 2, the Bears have got to have that kind of fervor going up against Matt Eberflus, who comes back to Chicago. I want to see that same type of energy from the Bears. So go out there and make it happen. I want to thank everybody here for doing it. For those of you, by the way, I've seen some disturbing trends that a lot of Cowboy fans are buying up seats. That can't happen. You guys cannot let the Cowboy fans overrun the stadium. I do not want to see that. That's been one of the things that's been nice over the last number of years, is that the fans usually don't take over stadiums like you see at SoFi Stadium or some of the other places. And by the way, if you can't get to the game, make sure you're going to Twisted Shamrock, my favorite bar in all of Chicago. If you're a real, true Chicago sports fan, and I'm talking about Bears, Bulls, Cubs, White Sox, Blackhawks, Sky, and Fire, you need to be watching games at Twisted Shamrock. They've got monster TVs in the private party room, over the main bar, and outside on their stellar patio. Soak up these last few days of patio weather in Chicago. Swing by Twisted Shamrock, where Chicago sports come together. And by the way, order yourself an old fashioned. It is the best old fashioned in the entirety of the Midwest. And you know what? Now moving into Denver. I was in Denver over the summer. I did not find an old fashioned better than the old fashions at Twisted Shamrock. Make sure you stop by. So listen, I want to thank you all for being here. Thanks to Nic Roti for stopping by for a few moments before he had to go to his highfalutin dinner. We'll be back Wednesday night for Take It to the Rank. Greg Braggs will be joining us. It'll be a lot of fun. And then on Friday, we'll have our Chicago Bears preview as we talk about the Dallas Cowboys. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. Don't bail. Don't leave yet. Or maybe some of you should. Maybe some of you should go. No, don't do that. Don't give up hope. Don't give up the ship. Things are going to get settled. We're going to have a great game this week. So we'll see you tomorrow night for Take It to the Rank. For Nick and Shane, I'm Adam, and go ahead and play us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.